All I know is you can't really call yourself an environmentalist or environmentally aware. There's somebody through that window. Unless you include within your rhetoric, if you can get up with the light, then you save carbon emissions later on in the evening. But the health, what it does to your having as much UV as possible is so good for your mental health. I know that. I realised it flipped me just a bit, even though my mental health is actually brilliant. When I'd moved out of the magnificent old tumble-down Rachman rental I had for 8 years, that was a dark old building, even though I would often be out by 9 o'clock in the morning, particularly in the glorious year of 2020. Well, I didn't want to pay my rent anymore. Fuck 'em. Rachman. 2 years rent-free. Paradise. Enabled me to start thinking and writing. Anyway, or rather get back to it. But being, even in the winter, when it starts to get light about 7 in the morning, January, middle of January, it makes such a difference. There's something, and the science completely and utterly is there for this, that there is so much in even ambient UV now that you cannot replicate in any way, that has quite a few likely positive effects on all sorts of aspects of our system, some which we don't understand, some which we haven't even begun to discover yet. But it makes such a difference. It really does. This hour or two now, you just know that it keeps away. I don't even want to say dark thoughts, because I never have dark thoughts. But I accidentally pressed the look at my ugly mug. It does something important. Never mind save emissions if you're generally, almost always, getting up in the morning, with more or less with the light. But nobody will talk about it. And okay, rather than talk about civilians, when Wendell Berry was on start the week in the I think it was about 4 years ago on the great, was it Wendell Berry? Yes, it was. On the great big, hey, we're going to have an environment special. So we've got the godfather of environmental poetry. He was up at 3 o'clock at night on a live link from America. Now, that is so symbolic. And he spoke actually of quite a lot being up all night. If even he cannot get it, he should have said to the producers of Start the Week, excuse me, it is so important as a people for our mental health, for our emissions, reducing emissions, that we train ourselves to become more in tune. I mean even the phrase in tune is been taken over by the, now I've never used this phrase before, I'm about to use it once only because Ian McGilchrist and Freddie and others use it, woo-woo. It's been taken over by the woo-woo brigade. Oh, see, it's such a revolting term, I've forgotten what I was saying. But the point is that if they would just use as foundation the habit adjustments that do make a tremendous difference to those things. Emissions, I refuse to use the word, but well-being, overall physical functionality in accordance with a blueprint which you will not find even in your silly Sky Fairy Bible, which has got some good stuff in it. You won't find in there references to people being of course there are always going to be a small amount of people who end up in their mind goes wrong, but you won't find references in there to people who are depressed and etc. living, and you don't much find references in 300-400-year-old literature. I do think there's a tremendous amount of these bad thought states, these dark thought states, is because people have stopped, or far more are up late at night in the dark. And without a doubt, there's all sorts of positive. It's wrong to say positive effects on your health. Such a rhythm of life, even that has been taken by the woo-woo brigade. Such a straightforward living in accordance. Oh, there's the most beautiful bird nearby. In accordance with the way the human body has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, i.e., our blueprint, the blueprint that our systems are fine-tuned to be within. Divergence from that is going to cause problems, and it's as simple as that. But no, there's always some clever dick who's putting it in different ways. There we go.